Okay, boys and girls. Okay, so today what I'm going to show you is the standard form of a linear equation. This will be pretty brief, and one more thing to do. The review, you want to make sure that you're familiar with all these formulas. We talked about slope formula, point slope formula, slope intercept, and then the last one I want to talk about is the standard form. So standard form, just think of it as A and B are together on one side, or sorry, X and Y are together on one side equals a number. So an example would be something kind of like this. We had 2x plus 3y equals 6. That's the standard form of a linear equation. Generally, you like A to be positive, so you like that number right there to be positive. All right, so another example would be 3x minus 2y equals 9. It doesn't really matter if this is negative or positive, but the preferred way to do this is to have a positive there. So just think of it really as x and y on the left side and number on the other side, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do is something real simple. This will be a real short video. These things right here are in the y-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay, which you've learned, so it's y equals the slope times x plus the y-intercept. So when we put this in standard form, really all we got to do is this. We need to have all the x's and y's on the left. The y's already on the left, so I'm just going to move this over, like we've learned, so that we're really adding 2x to both sides. So that becomes positive 2x plus y. We leave the 4 where it is. Okay, so we've got that in standard form now. We have 2x plus y equals 4. Standard form, one of the benefits of it is it turns out that it's real easy to find the x and y intercepts. So I want to show you what I mean by that. And we've talked about that a little bit. So if you wanted to find an x-intercept and you're in standard form, then all you got to really do is just block off the y. And then what you would have is 2x equals 4, so you could solve that equation and get x equals 2. So your x-intercept is 2, 0. And then if you go back to 2x plus y equals 4, if you want to find the y-intercept, then what you can do is you let x go to 0, so you just kind of wipe it out, and there you have it. Okay, so the y-intercept is 0, 4 on this equation. So what I'm saying is if you want to find an x-intercept, just block out y. Don't even look at y. Solve 2x equals 4. Find a y-intercept. Do that then. And I'm going to have you do this too on these problems. Just add that on there. The x-intercept on this is 2, 0. And then the y-intercept on this is 0, 4. Okay, so we've learned how to do that. All right, the next one's a little bit harder. You got a fraction, but still it's the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this over here. We want all the x's and y's on the left side. We like the number in front of x to be positive. So that would be 1/4 x plus the y that's already there equals negative 8. Now what we want to do is we want to get rid of fractions. So you always have the ability to get rid of fractions. If you want to get rid of a 4, if you have a 1/4, if you multiply it by 4 over 1, that will wipe that out. So just multiply this side by 4. And then, of course, you have no choice but to do the same thing the other side. So this is going to give 4 over 1 times 1/4 x. Be sure you distribute through everything. So plus 4y. And then this side is, of course, negative 32. What happens is that crosses out. And what that leaves you with then is x plus 4y is equal to negative 32. All right, so that's it. That would be the standard form on that particular problem. Now what you want to do is you want to kind of learn how to do this x-intercept in your head when it's in standard form. So what we're doing is y becomes 0. So in your mind, just block off, just erase the 4y. Block it off. What are you going to have left? You're going to have x equals negative 42. Okay, so that's negative 32. So you can do it in your head. Okay, to find the y-intercept, x is 0. So just block that off. Just pretend like it's not there. You would actually have 4y equals negative 32. You can usually solve that in your head. So that's negative 38. So one thing I'd like you to be able to do is when you put something in standard form, see if you can figure out the intercepts in your head. Okay, that's really beneficial. It'll come in handy later in the class too. All right, go ahead and pause your video. And I'm going to add one other thing on here. I want you to put these two in standard form, but I also want to see if you can figure out the x-intercept and the y-intercept in your head this time. The next problem, problem number 2, you got a fraction, so you need to be sure you get rid of that fraction. All right, so I'm going to pause this and go ahead and go for it. Okay, so here's what you should have got. The first one, when you change that to standard form, you just move the negative 6x to the left. That's all you do. So 6x plus 2y is negative 10. Maybe it's a little hard to do the x-intercept in your head, but you could block out just imagine in your mind erasing the 2y. So you solve the equation 6x equals negative 10. Divide by 6. You can reduce this fraction, c by 2, so you would get negative 5/3. So negative 5/3, 0. Y-intercept, just imagine in your mind blocking off the 6x. Just take your hand and cover up the 6x. You would solve the equation 2y equals negative 10, which gives y equals negative 5. All right? Okay, remember x-intercept is when y is 0, y-intercept is when x is 0. All right, this one's got a lot going on this one. You want to start by moving the fraction, get the x on the left side, so you would have negative 2/3 x plus y equals negative 10. Again, that moves so the sign changes. Now you want to get rid of that fraction, so multiply by 3. Make sure everything gets multiplied by 3. So you'd have this plus 3y, and on the right side, negative 30. 3's cross out, leaving you negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 30. Now, I probably wouldn't fuss at a student very much if they had this as standard form. Technically, you're supposed to have the number in front of x being positive. So that's why I went ahead and multiplied both sides by negative 1 so that negative 2 changes into a positive 2. So if I do that, I get positive 2x minus 3y equals 30. Okay, so really I would take this right here is okay, but this is the preferred answer is to have like that. And then it's easy to do the intercepts. X-intercept, block off y, solve the equation in your head, 2x equals 30, so x is 15. Y-intercept, block off the 2x, so solve the equation, negative 3y equals 30. Divide both sides by negative 3, you get negative 10. So it's real beneficial to be able, if you're in standard form, to quickly find those intercepts. As I say, you'll be doing that in some business applications that we do a little bit later called linear programming. You'll be doing that quite a bit. So you want to be able to do that quickly and efficiently. All right, that's the end of this part of the video then. Good luck.